the rain, the tears, it'd be falling when this mon got, you know, it's got the hydration, it's healing up and everything, resting in the. This mon is an amazing Pokemon when it's all said and done. It's your boy NJNP, and we're here to talk about Manaphy. Manaphy was the most requested mon, and basically we're going to be discussing the competitive Smogon OU history of Manaphy. And I'm not gonna lie, until Gen 6, it's kind of a short story with Manaphy, but we can still get into it. So, Manaphy, of course, was introduced in, excuse me, where is it? What the? Why is it Ubers, UU, NU? I must be missing something. Oh, there we go. There, Gen 4 OU. Okay. Oh, yo, how it shook for a second. I ain't gonna lie. All right, but yeah. So Gen 4 OU dominant. It got straight banned to Ubers. It was just simply too much of the tier. I asked around, funny enough, to DVP players, and sadly they weren't around for the time because it got like completely quick banned. Basically, it was a setup sweeper on steroids that could not be stopped. It was guaranteed, generally speaking, getting like 3 kills per game. It was basically completely broken. It was too much for the tier, and it needs to go. Simple enough. And so we go into Gen 5, and I'm not gonna say it was worse because there were more, I guess, quote unquote, checks and measures for it. But the whole issue with Gen 5 is that we had rain for days. You know, we had polytoll drizzling all over the place, and the only way you could stop it was, you know, having your own weather, you know, mod to reset it, basically. Yeah, so like I asked, you know, I want to make sure I give you guys the best content, you know, and I want to make sure that I can give you guys as accurate as info as it possibly can when it comes to this. So now, as many of you don't know, I was definitely not actively playing in Gen 5, so I had to get an opinion. And yeah, so shout out to Finchinator for who probably helped me out through most of these videos for the OG, because I can basically cover Gen 6 to Gen 7 pretty well. But you know, before my time, you know, it's just best to ask them for help. But yeah, all right. So he was basically telling me like when Generation 5 was released, rain and sun being permanent in the OU metagame was obviously just too much. You know. The rain archetype was dominant in Gen 5 OU, and I mean, if you guys follow the Smogon scene, you know that Gen 5 OU is still actively played, and rain is still phenomenal. It's still considered, I mean, arguably the best typing as weather. And I mean, rain will. I don't think there will be a time period where sand or I mean, actually sand. Funny enough, sand was actually better in like early like alpha, ruby, etc. Hold up, I'm losing it. Hold on. No, yeah, oh yeah, Omega. There we go. It was good in Omega, Ruby, and there was dominant then, but then, you know, range just been phenomenal ever since then, especially when things like Pelipper coming, etc. But yeah, so Manaphy had a fantastic move pool, as you all know. Energy Ball, you know, Surf, Scald. I mean, you can burn things with Scald. You got Ice Beam for dragons, such as Garchomp, Latios. You also had the fact that, you know, as I've already covered, you know, it had the ability to just heal. So, like, basically, you could run Calm Mind on this mon, and generally speaking, not be able to get revenge quite easily, considering the fact that most electric types depend on their electric stab. Generally speaking, that is a special stab to take you out, and they're not taking you out because you've Calm Mind. You know, you're just shaking that attack off, and then you proceed. Let's say your opponent proceeds to go to another measure. If that measure can't revenge Manaphy, or at least tries to do, at least it comes closer to revenging, but then you just like, oh, sorry, you thought, and you just rest up, which is phenomenal. But yeah, it was basically borderline unkillable in Gen 5 without a small pool of faster attackers, such as Thundurus. But Thundurus was too much for the tier at the time, so that had to get banned. And it was one of the main offensive answers. A lot of people felt that it was just broken, you know, as I'm already said, like it was just too much. And Manaphy was one of the earliest Pokemon to get the boot, just because it was so violent for unprepared teams due to the natural bulk, that it was simply was reasonable in the eyes of most that it had to go. And many believe that it still would be broken to this day. As you guys don't know, like there's still suspects for Gen 5 happening. Like they just now covered Escadrille, and if Sandrush Escadrille should be allowed, you know. And of course we move on into like Gen 6, and we move into the start X and Y, and that's when it was retested. And Manaphy was pretty good, but it wasn't broken, and so it remained. So yeah, this is where we start off. Let's just go back in time. Gen 6 OU. Manaphy was pretty good. It wasn't broken, but it was pretty good. X and Y, honestly, the metagame was so offensive in X and Y, it generally speaking wasn't able to, I guess, perform its best somewhat, you know? But you can't ignore what it was able to do. And it was pretty phenomenal. A thing to think about is like, so when Manaphy, you know, there's leads such as Brelam still being around, so like that would, just speaking, be like a decent way to revenge Manaphy. You know, there also was Mega Venusaur, and like people were running Ice Beam on it, or at least that was the preferred move, because like D9 high usage, like you weren't running Psychic like, you know, consistent like as Manaphy does now for Toxapex. So that was a nice handle for it. And I mean, sure, was the Mon a scary threat? Of course, but it was a Mon that was handled. You had Bandit, Talonflame trying to revenge it, etc. You had things like Deoxys Speed in the tier. Like it was pretty crazy, but it was a scary Mon, and it definitely, you cannot deny the fact that as soon as this man got a Tail Glow, and as soon as this man got a rain, potentially got a Rain Dance up, it was even worse. Another thing to think about, Manaphy and Baton Pass. So like when Baton Pass wasn't banned, you could legit just Baton Pass off your speed and then Manaphy set up and go crazy, and you're just like, ooh, that's tough. And like you just have to go from there. Like Manaphy was phenomenal. Important thing for that, like revenge Manaphy was Kieran B. That was in the tier as well. That was pretty nice because, you know, it's able to take Manaphy's attacks after Tail Glow, you know, try to do as much damage as it can with Fusion Bolt, which is pretty clean. But yeah, X and Y, it was perfectly fine. It was pretty good though. So we move on to Omega. And so Manaphy, I don't know, man. I don't know why, but I just felt like it got even better, you know. And in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the metagame, it was a pain. Like it legit could just sweep certain teams, and there was literally nothing that would stop it, and you just had to deal with it. There were certain matchups where, like, a very popular archetype, let me like build you guys a very popular archetype. Like, so a very popular team was, I believe, made like by X-Ray, yeah, and it featured like Among Us, Heatran, Scissor, Lando, Latios, I believe. Yeah, I think it was Latios, I'm pretty sure. Latios is really important for Manaphy, like really important. And yeah, so like you guys may look at this like, oh, okay, you have an Among Us and a Latios. That's pretty good for Manaphy. Well, here's the thing. So like Manaphy was, generally speaking, running Psychic because of the mons like Among Us, and could literally just blow by Among Us. And the thing was with Scald at an officer, excuse me, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you know, it was doing 12%, you know, each time, you know, you were burned. So Laddie, if it came into a Scald and it got burned, you could legit wear it down if you played your Manaphy correctly, because like you could literally just double your Manaphy into a Heatran and, you know, force that out. And the Heatran's wary to toxic you because it can be a complete wasteful turn for it if it turns out that you're Rain Dance the next turn, you know, and it's basically, it just took the damage for no reason. Lando, of course, was forced out. Scissor, you could U-turn on it arguably, but the thing was that you risk being burned. And Tracheon was banned, which is, you know, I guess as best as, you know, it couldn't straight up revenge you, but it could do a ton of damage to you, which is pretty nice. But yeah, that was a popular team that Manaphy honestly was pretty scary. And so like as the tier progressed, like, cause like at the start, you know, there was things like AV Raikou that saw high usage because of things such as Life Orb, Life Orb Gengar, and, you know, Manectric had high usage to revenge Manaphy. Like you know, there's Appear naturally, there's Tang. You know, the mod had good answers and measures, but it didn't change the fact that it was just a complete pain to team building, that some people, even myself at one point, were just like, oh, maybe we should legit suspect this mon. Now it didn't get heavy clout, it didn't get heavy call, but it was honestly a really big pain, and the mon was just completely too much to handle, especially the Calm Mind. Just basically, you know, just depending on the Scald move, and you just Calm Mind up, you got like max defense bulk, you aren't getting revenge, you're burning everything around you. It was pretty disgusting. The good thing with that set though is that we got like Volcanion to handle that as well, like later in the generation, so it wasn't that fantastic. Also, along with the fact that Manaphy with the max bulk was able to handle Talonflame pretty well as well. So like it was a legit mon, and you know, you would pair that with like T-Tar to remove Laddies, and or you know, Cure and Bees that aren't already burned from Scald. It was pretty good. It was pretty reliable, and you know, it did its job, which was win games. It legit could sweep. It could beat Tangrowth's 1v1. If Amoonguss didn't have Clear Smog for some reason, it could beat Amoonguss. Like, this mon was good, and it was scary good in Alpha. Calm down. And Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby metagame. And so we proceed from that metagame to the Sun and Moon metagame, and Manaphy, honestly, it was just, it got mauled. Like, all the new mons that came in, which were simply just too much for Manaphy. And honestly, I was kind of glad, because we legit at the beginning, like some people, including myself, like thought, oh my god, with this Z move that Manaphy got, with like it can like get, you know, the boost in the rain, we thought, okay, it may be too much. And also it got the nuke with Warrior, like it may be too much. But as the metagame progressed, we realized, okay, this set honestly isn't as good, or isn't the best set for Manaphy. And like Manaphy honestly in just general isn't like great. You know, we got things like Kartana to revenge it. If it does get like a plus, you know, plus 1 speed. If it doesn't, you know, we got Kartana to revenge it, like with like any Kartanas that basically that has Leaf Blade as a stab. And you know, we had things like Coco, Lele, most importantly Coco. We have Bulu that could, you know, force just tons of mons that, generally speaking, Manaphy just didn't want to deal with. And also along with the fact that Manaphy had a lot more Revengers in the tier, there was webs popping, so like Manaphy couldn't, you know, it was already being slow as it is, it really just like depended on it to have like its 100 speed, and it just wasn't able to do that well. Yeah, it was just honestly just too much for it. But Manaphy did start seeing some pretty legit usage in like the middle, or like I guess close to coming to the end of the Sun and Moon metagame, and that was because of Veil. And like you would see Veils like this that would completely like like completely made by I'm sorry, LOL. And yeah, like these teams were made to basically dismantle stall. Let me show you guys. So it was like Manaphy, Snow, I believe it was Magirna. You would throw T-Tar was like better for offense, but Mawile was better for stall. So I'm just trying to show you how it completely would maul stall. It's like it was Lando and Zygarde. Yeah. So like these were the type of abilities that would just I'm decently sure it was Zygarde. Yeah. But yeah, these teams were just made to completely maul stall. Like this was like, generally speaking, Earth Plate, Gravity like type of Landos, SD Maul, and like Rain Dance, Psychic, Surf, Manaphy. Just too much for stall, honestly. And you, generally speaking, would have like, I'm not gonna say 100% win versus stall, because they can hack you as much as you can hack them naturally. But you had a pretty good, and you know, it was in your favor to win games. So yeah, that's something to think about. So yeah, Manaphy thrived in that concept, because the whole thing was like, Manaphy could easily be revenged now. But with the whole fact that Veil allowed it to not be easily revenged, it's just pretty important, because if the main revenger for Manaphy tries to revenge it and it doesn't pull it off, then you may not have the mons in the back to be able to handle this mon, and to be able to stop it from either breaking your team down to a point where another thing that didn't sweep, basically. But an important thing to think about also as well is Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn, because of the fact that Toxapex was in the tier, which is another important thing I definitely want to bring up. Basically, all Manaphys technically are forced to run a Water move, Toe Glow, and Psychic. The last move is up to you, but like they're forced to run like basically those 3 moves. And generally speaking, the last was not going to be Hidden Power Fire. So Ferrothorn, generally speaking, was a very, very reliable handle, or at least measure to Manaphy, which it wasn't in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Like in ORS, you know, you would have to fear hidden power fire, and I remember seeing one replay. I sadly wasn't able to find it, but it was a legit game by by a good friend of mine, Somalia. He set up a tail glow as his opponent went Ferrothorn. He ice beamed, predicting his opponent to scout for the hidden power fire and go last, and then he hidden power fire the Ferrothorn the next turn. Manaphy got 2 kills and proceeded to just basically clean up and win the game for him. Now, of course, that's not showing how amazing Manaphy is. That shows how good of a player he is, but that also just showcases how versatile Manaphy was, though, you know. And yeah, it pulled that off certainly. But yeah, no, with the presence of Ferrothorn and Toxic, like, it really wasn't a great show for Manaphy. Like, Manaphy did not enjoy seeing those two, and it was just a pain in the ass for it. But yeah, aside from that, you know, we go into Ultra Sun and Moon, where we are now. And to be honest, guys, similar to the previous, the first video that we did. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, by the way. Garchomp, if you haven't seen that, definitely go into the playlist. It should be there. But yeah, like, Garchomp and Manaphy have the same problem. They're not seen. And mostly because, just, you know, as time has gone, these mons are just obsolete, and they just don't perform what their what their job once was. They don't perform it as well. But hey, that's just my opinion. You guys let me know your opinion on Manaphy below, and what do you think about this monster of a mon? Please do comment below what mon you would like me to do next. Skarmory was like pretty close. I was kind of nervous to have to cover the Stallish mon at Skarmory, because I didn't want to do a video that would completely bore y'all and be like, I felt like a video with Skarmory be like, this is Stall back then, this is Stall now, this is Stall the future. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like, but anyway, you know, you guys let me know what mon you'd like me to do next. I hope you guys enjoyed. It's your boy NJNP, and I'm out. Peace.